All right, guys, here we go. Here's a little Geometry Chapter 8 review. So we're going to start off with just the numbers that I was given. We're going to do page 603, 16 through 24, 31 through 38, and then page 558, number 37. I'm going to kind of go through these quick as the weather gets kind of crazy and get out of here. So we're going to start with 16. 16, these are just Pythagorean theorem questions, so these won't take too long. We can get through these fairly quickly. So 16 is just a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so a and b are going to be the legs. Those are going to be the sides that are not opposite the right angle. So that's going to be 22 squared plus 20 squared equals c squared, which we don't know, so we're just going to let that be x squared. That's a horrible 2. Fix that up. Okay, and so 20 squared, real easy, is 400. 22 squared is going to give me 484. And so that's going to give me x squared equals 484. And so to do that, so we're just going to take the square root of both sides. You're good. No, you're fine. Come on. And so when we take the square root of 484, we're going to get 22. So our missing side, which is our hypotenuse, is equal to 22. So let's move on to 17. Okay, so in this one, this is going to be just a little bit different. They've given us the hypotenuse, which is the c squared, so that's going to be 18 squared. And then one of our legs, doesn't matter, you can make either one a and either one b. But we'll just work it like that. And so 9 squared is going to give us 81. 18 squared is going to give us 324. And then we're going to take that 324 and subtract 81 from it. Subtract 81 from both sides. That gives us x squared equals 243. In this case, I'm going to take the square root of 243. And that comes out to be 15.588. We notice by instructions, it doesn't really give us whether we should round it or not. So I'm going to round it. This is approximately 15.6 or 15 6/10. So 15 6/10. Okay, let's move on to number 18. Okay, for the sake of some time on 18 through 20, I'm just going to do one of these. I'm just going to do number 18 and put up in the right-hand corner here the different rules. If your c squared is less than a squared plus b squared, that makes it an acute triangle. If c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared, that makes it an obtuse triangle. And obviously what we just talked about before, if c squared equals a squared plus b squared, that makes it a right triangle. So remember that your smaller two numbers are the legs. So again, we're going to do a squared plus, actually I'm going to do it different this time. I want to do it in the same form that I wrote over to the side. So we're going to do c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Again, we don't know if it's going to be equal. We'll see what happens. So again, c is going to be our greatest number. So that's going to be 25 squared equals 7 squared plus 24 squared. And I'm going to actually change that even just a little bit more. Instead of putting that equal sign there, I'm going to put the old school, kind of like back when we did inequalities, just the box. And so we're either going to put equal, greater than, or less than. Okay, so 25 squared, that's going to give us 625. And we'll put our box there. 7 squared is 49. 24 squared is 576. And so if I take 576 and add 49 to it, that's going to give me 625. So in this case, 625 is equal to 625. And so that's going to make this a right triangle. So that question asks whether each numbers can be the measures of a side of a triangle, and if so, classify the triangle as acute, obtuse, or right. In this case, it's right. So again, like I say, we're going to skip over that one. We're going to go to 21. That's one of the word problems, so that's a little scary. And looks like somebody is swimming. Somebody's going to be swimming a length, something like this. We got a lake here. So some person's probably going to swim around the outside, and then some person's going to swim diagonally. So what it says, oh, it's walking to get around a lake. Okay, and it's south and east. Okay, so south and east. So I'm going to flip my triangle here. And they're going to go 27 miles. Actually made the wrong triangle. Let's clean this up a little bit. They're going to go further east than they are south. So let's do this. Okay, so 27 miles south, 38 miles east. The other person decides to just cut right through the park. So again, this is just a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a lot of that in this chapter, and you'll use a lot of that. So we've got 27 squared plus 38 squared equals c squared. Let me get my calculator over here. And so we've got 27 squared gives me 729. 38 squared gives me 1,444. I'm going to add that to the 729, and it gives me 2,173 equals c squared. I forgot my c squared there. I'll get that back in there. And I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And that gives me approximately 46.6. In this case, I believe it was meters. Okay, so I kind of have to read the question there. That's 46.6 is what she swam, or what she walked. Actually, 46 is what she swam. If she swims directly across the lake, the total she walked would be 38 plus 27, which is going to be 55. 65, excuse me. Good math there, Renault. And so it asks how much she saved, so we're going to do 65 minus 46.6. So again, just reading the question, I actually failed to do that too. That's my mistake. So she's going to save approximately 18.4 meters. So taking the total amount swam and subtracting that from the total amount walked, that'll give us the total savings of meters. Okay, I want to say before I get too much further, I just did a quick charge on my microphone, and if for some reason this goes silent at some point, please just continue to go through the problems. I will work them, but if my battery runs out on the mic, I have no choice but to just keep going silently. So the next one's going to get into some trigonometry. SOHCAHTOA is sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So in this case, we need to find the relationship of these two sides to the angle of 25. Okay, now this is the hypotenuse. Notice there's not arrow drawn to the hypotenuse. So we're obviously looking at opposite and adjacent. And opposite and adjacent is going to be tangent. So I'm going to take the tangent of 25, and that's going to equal my opposite side, which is 15, over my adjacent side, which is x. So I'm going to make this a proportion and actually get on my calculator and find the tangent of 25, which is approximately 0.4663. And then I'm just going to solve this as a proportion. So that's going to be 0.4663 times x, and then 15 times 1. So to solve that, I'm going to divide both sides by 0.4663. And that's going to tell me what my missing side is. So I got 15 divided by 0.4663, and that gives me approximately, that should be approximately 32.2. Okay, so approximately 32.2 on that one. So we'll move on to the next one, which will, let's see, that was number 31. So we'll move on to the next one, which is number 32. Okay, so we've got another trigonometry problem. This is SOHCAHTOA again. And so we are looking at opposite, but this time we are looking at the hypotenuse. So we're going to do sine because it's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 43 equals opposite, which is 26, over hypotenuse, which is x. So we'll find the sine of 43. Again, that's a calculator only. It's all you can, only way you can do it, and that's 0.6820. So that's going to be 0.6820 when I multiply that by x, and then the 26 times 1. So then we're going to divide both sides by 0.6820. And that's going to give me 26 divided by 0.6820 equals, that comes out to be approximately 38.1. Okay, so there's a little sine, cosine, and tangent. My guess is on number 33, we're going to, what are we going to do? Okay, we're going to find x and y. All right, let's get on to number 33. Okay, I like number 33, not because it's a word problem, but because it shows you something different. In this case, we got to find x and y, but if we can find one of them, all we have to do is subtract from 180, because we know this angle is 90 degrees, and when we find one, we can add those together and subtract them from 180 to get the other one. So it doesn't matter which one we're going to do. I'll just go with y. And so it looks like y has an opposite and non-hypotenuse, so that means adjacent. So I've got an opposite over an adjacent. I'm going to find tangent. So I'm going to find tangent of y equals opposite, which is 3, over 6. So that's tangent of y equals 1/2. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put 1/2 in my calculator, and actually I'm going to do this. Tangent of y equals 0.5000. So when we're finding actual angles, notice on the last two we were finding sides. When we're finding angles, you need to find the tangent of -1 button on your calculator, and it's right above the tangent button. And so you're going to hit tangent of -1, and then you're going to put in 0.5000. That's going to give you an actual value of approximately 26.6. So your y value is 26.6. So that angle right there is 26.6. Now, again, we knew the other one was 90. So we've used 116.6 of our degrees. And so when we subtract that from 180, we get 63.4. So 63.4 is our x, and 26.6 is our y value. So that'll take care of that word problem. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you I'm not a great artist, so you'll notice my wonderful car there. If you look in your book, that's what it would be. We're trying to find the angle of depression. The angle of elevation is right here, which means the angle of depression is right here. So if I'm throwing that newspaper out of the car, that's the angle that it's falling at. So what I need to understand is I need to find this angle right here, okay, and I need to subtract that from 90, and that will give me my angle of depression. So what I've got is, from that angle, I've got opposite, and I've got adjacent. So again, we've got SO, CA, TOA. And this time I've got opposite over adjacent, so that's tangent again. It's really like the one we just did. So I've got tangent of x is equal to opposite, which is 15, over adjacent, which is 4. This one's going to come out a little bit different than the 0.5 on the one before. So I'm going to do 15 divided by 4. That gives me 3.75. So this is when we hit our tangent of -1 button for 3.75. And that gives me an angle of approximately 75.1. Now, remember, that is this angle. And I want to subtract that from 90. Okay, and that's going to give me 14.9 degrees of angle of depression. And it says round it to the nearest degree. So that's going to be 15 degrees. For time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and skip 35 because it's the same type of thing. Good example out to the right-hand side of that. And we'll go ahead and move into the 8-6, which is the law of sines and cosines, which I believe is something that you guys just covered today. Okay, so this is going to be number 36. On 36 to 38, we're going to be using the law of sines and cosines. Okay, the way to tell the difference, if you were given a triangle that has two sides and an included angle, which means maybe they gave us AC and AB, and angle A was in between them, that's the included angle, we would use law of cosines. But in this case we don't, so we're going to use law of sines. So understand that if this is angle A, then this is side A, which means this would be side C if we needed to at lowercase c. And this, obviously our next one, you can probably see where I'm going with this. That one right there is our side B. So they are opposite the vertices that have the capital letters on them. So to work this one, since we were given side B, we're going to take the sine of angle B. Okay, so sine of angle B, which is x, over side B, which is 24. And we're going to set that equal to the other one we were given. We were given angle A. So sine of angle A, which in this case we do know, is 33 over side A, which is 15. Okay, oops, that's an equal sign there. So I'm going to cross multiply. That's going to give me 15 times the sine of x equals, let me get my calculator here real quick and do sine of 33, which is 0.5446 times the 24. So that's going to give me 15 sine of x equals 13.071. I'm going to go out 3 places. Then to solve that, we're going to divide by 15. Now we get sine of x equals 0.8714. And like discussed before, if we're finding an actual angle, this is where, let me scroll this down a little bit. This is where we're going to use our sine of -1 button. So I'm going to hit sine of -1, 0.8714, and that gives me an angle of approximately, let's see what they ask for it. They ask for it in the nearest degree, round angles to the nearest degree. So that came out to be 60.6, which is going to be 61 degrees. Okay, so again, we didn't have an included angle between the sides, so that's why we use law of sines. The next one is going to be law of cosines. Okay, so notice on this one that our angle R is included. It's 15 degrees. I'll get the degree sign on there. 15 degrees. That means we're going to be using the law of cosines. And in this case, we're going to be using R, and understand that this is side R, lowercase. This is side Q, lowercase. And this is side S, lowercase. So it's going to look something like this. So it's going to be R squared equals Q squared plus S squared minus 2 QS times the cosine of R. Okay. What it actually looks like normally when they're using A's, B's, and C's would be A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. That's what it would look like normally. So that's probably some that you want to memorize, or if she gives you a note card or something that you might be able to use that. So now let's just plug in what we have. We don't know what R is. Okay, so that's going to be x squared equals, we do know what Q is. Q is 53. We know what S is. S is 21 minus 2 times 53 times 21. I'm going to run out of room here. Cosine of 15 degrees. Okay, yikes, that's a mess. But we're going to clean it up a little bit. So that's going to give me, go over here where I have more room. That's going to give me x squared equals, do some calculation work here, 53 squared is 2809 plus 21 squared is 441. I'm going to do the -2 times 53 times 21. That gives me -2,226. And now I'm going to multiply that times the cosine of 15. And that's 0.965. 0.59. Okay. So 2,809 plus 441, that's 3,250, minus 2,226 times 0.9659, that's minus 2,150.1. That gives me x squared equaling 1,099.9. Now, I take the square root of both sides, and I get approximately, let's see, we were finding, in this case, a side, and the side, it says measures to the nearest tenth. So that's approximately 33.2. 33.2. I know that's crazy, but you can rewind that, watch it again. It's a great thing about a screencast is you can do that on there. Okay, guys, again for time, just for sake, I'm going to get on the road here in a minute. 38 is a law of cosines question, because you will notice that 150 degrees is included in between the sides of 864 and 1000. So I'm going to leave that with you and let you do that. And also, I've been made aware, possibly number 37 on page 558. So I'm going to flip back there real quick. Check, check. All right, I'm still going. Microphone's still going. Hopefully I can get through this one. 37 is a special right triangle. So I want to do this. I want to put a base here and get this going before I do the problem, so it doesn't look just crazy ridiculous. Here's the two triangles, the 30, 60, 90, and the 40, nope, I don't want that, and the 45, 45, 90. So here would be my 90-degree angle. This would be my 45. This would be my 30, 60. So let's talk about the 30, 60. I'm going to give number examples just so you can see them as numbers instead of things. If I was given the smallest side, okay, so that smallest side is 5. The hypotenuse is twice as long as the smallest side, so that makes this 10. And the other leg is the small leg, which is 5, times radical 3. I always remember the radical 3 because there are 3 different angles in a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So 3 different angles, that's times radical 3. You'll see what that means a little bit more here in a second. A 45, 45, 90, that's an isosceles triangle. So if this is 5, this has to be 5. But because there's only 2 different kinds of angles in this one, a 45 or a 90-degree angle, then my hypotenuse here is going to be 5 times radical 2. Just because of the 2 different sides. Okay, so give me just a second to draw number 37, and again you can use this as a reference to flip back to if you need. Okay, so I labeled everything that it had that it gave us in the book. I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to label this on my own as 30 and 45. That way I understand that we have 2 different kinds of special right triangles. Okay, so this one's a little backwards. Let's start with the 30, 60, 90 on the left. And so we're going to kind of ignore the 45, 45, 90 for now. Come back to it. They've given us the leg. Now this is what we ended with last time. So from the longest leg to the shortest leg, remember on the back page we just did a minute ago, we multiplied shortest leg times longest leg, or shortest leg times radical 3. Since we're doing it this way, we're going to divide by radical 3 because it has to be smaller. Can't have a radical on the bottom. So to get rid of that, we multiply by radical 3 over radical 3. That gives me 18 radical 3 over radical 9, Well, we know what radical 9 is, so that's 18 radical 3 over 3. And because 3 goes into 18, I can go ahead and do that. 18 divided by 3 is 6 radical 3. So y is 6 radical 3. And because it's the smallest leg, the hypotenuse is 2 times that. So 2 times 6 radical 3 is 12 radical 3. Remember, we just multiply the 6 times 2. We do not change the radical. Okay, so we found 2 missing pieces there. So now I'm going to get rid of this one, and we're going to focus on our 45, 45, 90. I'm going to move this side of 18 over there so I can get rid of that full view. There we go. Okay, so if the hypotenuse is 18, to find the leg, again, instead of multiplying by radical 2, we're going to divide by radical 2 because we're going smaller. We're going from bigger to smaller, so we want to divide. Oh, I don't want that to be equals. I want that to be times. So to get rid of the radical on the bottom, multiply by radical 2 over radical 2. That gives me 18 radical 2 over radical 4. So that's simplified as 18 radical 2 over 2. And again, I can simplify that by dividing 2 into the 18. And that'll end up giving me an x value of 9 radical 2. Okay, so just to clean that up a little bit, yeah, we'll get rid of that. X was 9 radical 2. Y, I believe, was the short leg. That's 6 radical 3. And Z is 12 radical 3. All right, guys, there it is. I am so sorry we couldn't meet today. I hope this helps. Good luck on your test. You guys will do great. Please feel free just to rewind it whenever you need.